gals and gals. Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre coming at you with a brand new video. Yeah. This one here is a little bit different. We're, you know what? I'm going to try something here. Kind of maybe spread things out just a little bit more. Ooh, I think I like that even better. Yeah. Okay, so in honor of the new Oppenheimer movie that's coming out tomorrow, Friday, the 21st of July, I'm smoking my very first Dunhill Estate Pipe. It's a Canadian, Dunhill Estate Pipe Canadian. I got, gosh, maybe 12 years ago, 11 years ago. Yeah, probably about 12 years ago. So anyway, so in honor of the Oppenheimer movie, I broke out my wonderful little straight-stemmed Canadian, and got a little bit of iced tea here, although I don't know how cool it is right now. And I'm not even using a microphone other than what's on the iPhone, so the sound quality may not be the greatest. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a little homage to the great man himself, and also the guy who is bringing to the 7mm IMAX theaters, Mr. Christopher Nolan. So, you know, so I'm gonna kind of give him a little bit of credit, I guess. Yeah. Now, smoking, I didn't bring the bag with me. One of my all-time favorite pipe tobaccos. Unfortunately, it is a never to be repeated pipe blend, because the briar patch is no more. And I made several videos talking about the briar patch and Fair Oaks and Sacramento, and I even believe I met Mr. Gary, the gentleman scholar, at one of those. Yeah, I think it was the one down on L Street. Yeah, I think so. And then we had dinner after that. Anyway, so the thing is that I thought I'd take a little bit of a, kind of a, I was going to say a leaf out of Oppenheimer's book, or actually my own book here, because as I make this video, it's kind of interesting because this is a pretty big house, and there's a lot of bedrooms in here. This is not my own personal bedroom, but it's a guest room, and it has a real nice, kind of has a nice view of our church roof. Yeah, so it was one of the first things that I remember thinking about when I would look out there and say that this church needs a new roof. It needed a lot of new things. And so cleaning up everything and organizing it, and making it, and I got to go through probably about every 6 months and do a little bit of a cleanup to kind of keep things fresh and kind of keep the clutter down, because I still am kind of a recovering hoarder. I don't know if any of you are recovering hoarders, but I have to admit freely that I'm a recovering hoarder. So, but I still have tendencies to hold on to insignificant things, even though they may be sentimental, but they may not really be doing me any good. But sometimes, every now and then I'll rummage through a few things and I'll say, oh, I remember this thing, or this, or the person that gave it to me, or the circumstances that I was in when I had that, like, for example, this ashtray, I had this in seminary, of all places. I saw it, I think, at a tinderbox down in Stanford Mall. And, I thought, well, I'm going to need a good ashtray for pipes and cigars. And I even I can still see the little places where I used to burn incense in my room. There are little sticks of incense and there's little discolorations there. So it kind of has, a history, and that goes back like 35 years now, maybe 40 years. No, not 40 years, but 37 years now. Yeah, it's been a while. So anyway, I digress. So I'm smoking what's called Black Velvet from the Briar Patch, the former Briar Patch, in a Canadian, Dunhill Canadian. I don't know if I can show you that up close. Nice grain there. And this was, as I said, my very first, love this, it's Canadian, my very first estate pipe. And they put a little new stem on there, a little gold stem there. And I have to say that, and I think I bought this for like $199, if I remember correctly. It was one of the cheapest little Dunhills I'd ever got. It might have been $99. I can't remember, but it was definitely under $200. And I remember going, hell, I'm going to take that. Okay, so let me kind of share with you some thoughts I have about this new Oppenheimer movie. I haven't seen it yet. It's supposed to come out tomorrow. I'd love to be able to go and see it somewhere. I don't think I'll see it in an IMAX theater. I wish I could, but don't know. Don't know. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that or not. But so, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. But I do want to see the movie, and of course, it'll be streaming probably in the next couple months. One of the things that it's it's clashing with. Let me see if I can say that correctly. Correct. Has been speaking long? Not really. It's clashing at the theaters with Barbie. Yes, Barbie. And so there was a little meme going around talking about Barbenheimer. So if you're in the know, you know what that means. That was kind of a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, little bit of a meme to make fun of the fact that, these are two movies that are completely opposite of each other. Anyway, I think the Barbie movie is going to be it's a Wes Anderson film, and I suppose it's kind of like this movie came out called Asteroid City. It's a surrealistic kind of a film. It's just weird, okay? And I have a feeling that Barbie, or Barbenheimer, is going to be kind of in that same genre. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I probably won't go see Barbie. Probably is a safe bet, sort of like going and seeing Captain Marvel, I know some people, Gary, you're probably one of them, who probably loves Captain Marvel, but sorry, that's not me, okay? Okay. So, I live now very close to, now I wouldn't say I live super close to the Nevada test sites, but I'm right here on the state line of California. I'm like 13 miles away from Nevada, so I consider myself a state line kind of guy now. Even though I still technically live in California, we're just so close to the Nevada side, so I do all my shopping pretty much in Nevada. And with a few exceptions. I mean, when I'm buying just basic groceries, I just go down a mile. But if I want to buy something that's nice or a little bit better quality, I'll go to the Incline Village Raley's. Incline Village is in Nevada. And if I want to, go to Best Buy or the Apple Store, those are in Reno and Carson City. So anyway, so there's a history. I'm kind of living up here in history land, where history was made. Now I know that the actual Trinity test site was Alamogordo, New Mexico. Jornada del Muerto, the journey of the dead man, or the journey of death, or the journey of the dead man's journey, on different ways of interpreting that. which is kind of interesting because it sure turned out to be probably pretty prophetic and again, a lot of people now, and it's interesting because, see, I haven't seen the Christopher Nolan movie yet, obviously, and I'm hoping to see it soon, as I said earlier, but I've been trying to get a feel for the movie, and although there's a lot of praise and people are talking Academy Award winning, on all fronts, whether it's, filmography, cinematography, storytelling, the script, the music, the acting, the directing. They're saying this is Christopher Nolan's big Oscar possibility, whether or not that happens or not, we don't see it. No. Some people have had some pre-screenings. A few people have been able to see the movie before tomorrow, which officially comes out tomorrow for the rest of us plebes, okay? So anyway, so my concern has been from the very beginning that it is going to be a movie that will, whether subtly or not so subtly, kind of talk about the beauties and the glories and the wonderful opportunities of communism. And the reason why is because Robert Oppenheimer was associated, he was never an actual card-carrying communist. His brother was for a time. I guess his wife was a communist, I guess, and some other people that he associated with, other scientists, were also communists. Okay, so, but association does not necessarily prove guilt. Okay, and but he technically was never ever a card-carrying communist member. So, there's that. But there was enough to hold him in high suspicion, and, he lost his security clearance, and, well, I think most people know the rest of the story. But that's a small part of the story. That's kind of a sub-theme in some ways, there's lots of themes. Now, again, the science that goes into this man who clearly was, for all practical purposes, a true genius. And I just found out today, and I don't know how accurate this is, but he actually predicted, before it had been actually proven, the theory of black holes. So, had he lived long enough, maybe things would have turned around for him. Who knows? Maybe he would have won a Nobel Prize. They were saying. Some of the things, though, like I said, I'm concerned that the Christopher Nolan movie is going to be one that kind of, in like I said, maybe a subtle or not so subtle way, kind of sings the glories of communism and socialism, and as well as kind of denouncing America for using the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, again, I haven't seen the film yet, and that's one of my concerns. It's not that, again, I think I said it in one of my videos, maybe the last video, is that in some ways, one, it's anachronistic to try to judge a generation by one generation's standards of morality, as opposed to their generation of morality, their understanding of morality. It's kind of like putting a square peg in a round hole. Now, you can certainly disagree and say, I think that was a horrible thing to do. And again, obviously, because of the loss of life and innocent life, nobody is denying that. But there was a lot of things that went into the decision-making of using those weapons to curtail the war, to bring it to a swifter conclusion, which it did. So that in and of itself, I think, justifies, even though as horrendous as it was, and there's other reasons that I'm going to talk about in just a moment, that I think that, balance it out. It's not an easy decision, okay? It is not. Even Oppenheimer struggled in many ways until the day he died about the choice to use those two weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But the problem is that a lot of people today, again, want to judge and condemn, if you will, the past generations for their use at the time of, things. So I think that's kind of anachronistic on one level to do that. And the other thing I was going to say about that is that the decisions that a previous generation made, again, they understood the science behind the actual explosions, the megatons and or the kilotons, I should say, of the first bomb, and how devastating that was going to be, and how destructive it was. But the other thing that I think is also, it needs to be said, and I heard one guy say, again, trying to use our political lens to look at and judge something that happened 70, 80 years ago. It just doesn't work. And this one guy, I don't know what he was thinking. He said, well, the reason why they used it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki is because they really couldn't see themselves ever using it on a European city. And I thought, did I hear what this guy said? Are you serious? It's like, well, it was all racism. Yeah, they were looking for an excuse to use it on people, and when they found that they could use it on the Asian people in Japan, then they're all for it, because they never would have dropped it on a European city. The origin of finding how to create a nuclear weapon was based upon Adolf Hitler, and Adolf Hitler lived in Germany. The last time I checked, Germany was in Europe. That was the primary purpose that they were assembling all of this science and technology, was to build the bomb so they could drop it on European cities. And if Hitler had not, killed himself and Nazi Germany had fallen, they would have used it on Germany. And you say, well, you can't say that, yes, because, they were firebombing. Yes, they were firebombing Japan, but they were firebombing Dresden and Rotterdam and all those other places. So they had no compunction about using a nuclear device on a European country. That was what it was primarily originally designed for, was to drop it on Germany, period. So to say it was all racism, it boggles the mind. You get so weary of hearing all of this cant. You get so tired of hearing these banal, stupid minds. Yeah, Plan 9 from outer space. Thank you, Ed Wood. So again, and the other thing is, yes, I think before they actually dropped the bomb on those Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there were already, I think, 1.5 million of people who had already sadly died in the fire bombings. So it wasn't like, we were, just fighting the islands, with the soldiers, and then all of a sudden we decided, let's drop it on some civilians and see what happens. No, we were already firebombing those places of heavily civilian populations, mostly because of the industry that they were supporting the war. The other thing that they say, oh gosh, this was the horrible thing because those poor innocent people, they were already beaten. Well, yeah, we saw that they were beaten, but the military establishment in Japan was never going to surrender. They were prepared to fight island by island in Japan. They were never going to capitulate until we used those bombs. Now again, it's horrendous. It's horrible. It's heartbreaking. They say that, Oppenheimer was guilty, for the rest of his life. No, I think he wasn't guilty, but he regretted the fact of, you don't want to kill innocent people, but at the same time, you're going to prolong that war for both huge casualties, both on the American side and the Japanese side. And innocent civilians would have been killed regardless. And then there's one other thing that I think, unfortunately, some of these people kind of forget. They conveniently forget, or they're just brain dead, okay? But the ugly reality is that Japan started it. You know, they talk about all these poor, mutilated bodies and dead bodies and everything. Well, there were a whole bunch of dead bodies on December 7th, 1941. There were a whole lot of dead bodies in Iwo Jima, and Bougainville and Saipan, Tarawa, okay? Lots of dead bodies, a lot of burned bodies, a lot of decapitated bodies, a lot of suffering. Yeah. So we forget about that part of it, conveniently, because, the United States is such an evil country, it's so evil and bad, look what it does. And okay, again, I'm not here to say that our country is a group of saints, and but at the same time, I'm not here to sing the glories of communism. Again, people were thinking communism was this great end all and be all because of the propaganda that was coming out of the Soviet Union. They only they didn't show you the gulags. They didn't show you the 20 plus million people that they killed. No, again, it seems like the liberals and the progressives love to conveniently forget some of these facts along the way. They get lost. They get lost in their mawkish, humility, their false humility, not false humility, their false humanitarianism. They pretend that they care so much when they care so little. They could care less. Unless it can help them beat a political drum, then yeah, sure. Oh yeah, look at how horrible this was. Well, there was a lot of horror. It's called World War II. It was a pretty horrible thing. And so, as much as I want to see this movie, because I love this historical period, I think a lot of interesting things happened. Then after, of course, the advent of the bomb, and then we got all those wonderful 50s sci-fi films. Okay, I mean, gosh, that's great. I know that's a little bit beyond the pale. Probably, I don't mean it really like that, but I'm just saying that But all the wonderful sci-fi stuff, and not only sci-fi stuff, but in the wake of the 40s. Now, again, this is something that I personally kind of struggle with, because as much as I love what happened in the late 50s and the 60s, going to the moon. Today, I think, is the anniversary of the Apollo moon landing. Today is July 20th. I think it was July 20th, 1969. We landed on the moon today, hey. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that we took in those German scientists. Yes, we did. Kind of overlooked the fact that they created their V2s and V1 rockets, hey. We'll have to overlook that there, but Wernher von Braun, he was a Nazi, he really was. And they let him exonerate his past by building our space race, space industry. So, he was kind of one of the chief architects of going to the moon. And so he took that technology that had once been used for the hideous purposes of, killing innocent civilians again, and rechanneling that to land a man on the moon, which he did. So, I don't know. Maybe the story here, whether you're regarding Oppenheimer or Wernher von Braun or people from the past that have kind of a dubious or checkered past, is that sometimes they can be rehabilitated. I guess that's the word, rehabilitated, which is a good thing for all of us, because we all have feet of clay. We all are, we have human foibles. We have what's called concupiscence. It means the tendency to choose the wrong instead of choosing the good. Or sometimes, we make bad decisions. Maybe we're doing it out of our egos. That most of us, we make a lot of decisions based on our egos. What's in it for me, type of thing. We all to some extent do that. Hopefully, we try not to do that. I think the older you get, you realize that you don't want to really be going around manipulating people. That's not a good thing. And it's not a good thing for so many reasons. I think, sometimes people might think it's good because if you can either get what you want or control other people to get what you want, that's just really a dark thing. I mean, it's a good thing to be a leader. Hopefully you can be a good leader and encourage people, motivate people to do what's right, providing you're not, trying to say, well, what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? But, if you're trying to do something overarching, that's going to be beneficial to everybody, then I think, good leadership is a fine thing to have. Okay. It's a good thing to exercise. But I don't know. I guess, like I said, getting back to the movie. Where am I at here? Well, I have a few minutes left. Just kind of getting back to the movie. Again, I'll probably, if I find that it was a good movie, and again, I don't mind being challenged. I don't mind things that are thought provoking or make you kind of take a second look at certain things, especially if you didn't know certain things about the subject matter. We all can learn something new. Okay, I'm being paged on something. I'll have to probably bring this to a close here pretty soon. Let me get a little bit of tea here. It's not really. It's an man. I don't want to tell you. It's a reasonable facsimile of iced tea. I'll just say that. I thought I'd take a little bit of time off this afternoon to make this video. I got some new plugins, some new toys to play with in Final Cut Pro. And I always love, creating things that are fun and, kind of like, okay, let's see what I can do now with some other things that I've got to make things a little more interesting. Sometimes I think I don't know if we all have avocations. I hope everybody has some kind of an avocation. Maybe yours is just fishing. I don't know. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's playing cards. Maybe it's chess in the park. I don't know. But I think it's always good to have some kind of a creative outlet. And sometimes I find that, if I get a chance to kind of just let my imagination kind of run wild for a little bit and play around a little bit, it's kind of like an intellectual sandbox in some ways, and it's kind of fun to do that. So that's why I kind of make these videos mostly is just to try to be creative and have fun. That's all. But some people actually, they're real YouTubers. I only play one on YouTube. But there are some people out there that really, and they just, oh my gosh, some of the videos they make are just so awesome. They're just so, the craft is just is so good. And you go, how could I be a little bit better? How could I be a little bit more like this guy or this gal? It's like, I want to bring my A game, to my creator, abilities, I guess, on YouTube. So, okay. So, all right. Well, thanks so much for watching. This is probably going to be one of my shorter videos. If you've seen Oppenheimer and you want to drop a comment and tell me what you think, go ahead. Love to hear what you have to say about it. If you've seen it, what you think about it. Maybe that period of history is one that you're interested in as well, or maybe you have some insights on the subject matter. Maybe I don't have all of the facts. Maybe some people, you forgot this, or you're looking at it from the wrong perspective, or whatever. Okay, fine. Just share your opinion. And until next time, I guess we'll say to you, right now it'd be kind of cool if I could do a little Trinity nuclear explosion from the pipe coming up. That'd be kind of cool, light up your world, light up your Oppenheimer pipe. I don't know. Oh. Okay, so we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.